All right, guys, welcome back. Another episode 26 at Real Fans Podcast. Real fans, real sports, real time. So let's talk about it. What's up, guys?
Real time.
Real time
What's
sports.
up?
I mean, we got a lot to talk
back. We got a lot. We
cover.
missed a week, but we're back and we got a ton of stuff. So
We're going to cover a lot of things. NBA, talk about soccer for a little bit, MLB. We'll probably end with football. But first, we got to recap on the Olympics that ended over this past weekend. Obviously, we were kind of covering a little bit, just kind of talk about the sports that we liked and we follow. Just to end with a medal count, just so we can start there before JoJo gets into what we want to talk about. USA had the most medals with 113, China second place with 88. ROC, which is the Russian Olympic Committee, has 71, Great Britain 65. So that was kind of like the top order: USA, China, Russia, and then Great Britain. But as far as the amount of gold medals that the USA had the most with 39, China with 38, Japan 27, Great Britain 22. So we just want to kind of talk about what different events that we saw. Kind of just cover like what you were most impressed by. I guess.
So just to clarify, so we had the most gold and the most overall
medal. Yeah.
So what you're saying is we're the best country in the world.
USA, man, we're number one.
Number one.
I'll take that. That's impressive.
Jojo or Julian, I don't know what events you saw that you actually got impressed with, because I kind of like my events that I kind of go like seeing in the Olympics is kind of like it's like the three. It's like swimming, gymnastics, and like track and field. Usually like those are the three, I guess, biggest events. Obviously, had different. We talked about how they different. They had this year. They had the 3x3. They had skateboarding. They had archery. But Jojo, it's kind of like what kind of impressed you this past Olympics, and how did it compare to, I guess, to like other Olympics that you see?
Man, honestly, what really impressed me, man, all this women empowerment, man. We have great athletes from the United States, and all kinds of sports, almost every single sport, man. But I just want to highlight, man, congratulations to the women's USA basketball team with not one, not two, not three. Hold on, this might take a while. Not four.
Okay.
But 5 straight Olympic gold medals.
Seven.
That is 7?
Mm-hmm.
Not 6. Not 7.
I'm almost certain it's 7 because I think it's longer than the men's. I'm almost certain it's 7.
That's the most dominant dynasty ever. Can you name a more dominant dynasty in any sport?
Yeah, and they have a lot of veteran players. So like I don't know, obviously women's basketball. I don't really follow it a lot. I kind of follow it when it comes to like the finals and stuff. But they had Sue Bird, had the Brittany Griner. They had like a lot of big names. They had a mix of both like really good veterans and like really good young players as well. I think there was some controversy because there was like a player that wasn't allowed, or I guess a player who retired from the NBA, the WNBA, and hasn't been playing for a year, but she played in the previous Olympics that didn't get in.
Yeah.
But the fucking women's basketball is fucking savage. Like I don't see any other country that can compete in women's sport like that. Like they just dominate, and like I think that just shows that like I mean hopefully like the game can grow and can expand to other countries. I know there's a lot of Australian players that come over to the US, a lot of Chinese players, but I mean we're number one, man, and shout out to the women's basketball team. I mean,
yeah, you kind of see that in soccer too. There's just not a whole lot of competition from other countries.
Yeah.
The USA women's soccer team this year won bronze, I believe. They came in 3rd place,
which is
but I want to highlight.
Shocking.
I want to highlight the basketball team. Brianna Stewart this year, all in 1 year, she won EuroLeague title, Olympic gold title, WNBA title, all in 1 year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's wild, bro. That's wild, especially with everything going on, COVID going on. To keep up with your training, your meal prep regimen, stay focused, and just to remain a champion. Shout out to the women's USA volleyball team who sweeps Brazil for their first ever gold medal. Shout out to you, ladies. Shout out to Allison Felix, who is the most decorated American track and field athlete of all time.
Yeah,
11 Olympic medals.
I remember seeing her at the last Olympics. I think it was in Rio, and she was like one of the featured runners there that they were highlighting. There's also some other runners I saw win this year. What's her name? Man, I forget her name. I think it was Sarah. Is it McLaughlin? McLaughter, something like that. Usually we're up there. Like we're up there with the teams. There's usually a lot of new, especially in track and field. I think in sprinting, Spain, a woman from Spain won. DR won in track and field for the
Yeah,
first time.
so the last event that I seen for the USA women's track was the 4x400 relays.
Yeah.
They won by over 4 seconds time.
Yeah.
So that tells you how dominant they were there.
And that's a lot in track. Yeah. That's a lot in track.
Over 4 seconds.
When you said volleyball, beach volleyball or like court volleyball?
Court volleyball for a team. Yeah. That's their first gold. And I know we won gold in the 2v2 beach volleyball as well.
Yeah, we usually do pretty good in the beach volleyball. That's just 2x2, but the 5, I think it's 5-on-5 is the court one. So
that's like a full team. Yeah.
Difficult stuff right there.
Just overall, Julian, what kind of sports did you see? Like, was there any event that you kind of particularly took away that kind of impressed you? Any event in particular from the Olympics that you saw that you're kind of like wowed by?
I'm be honest, I didn't really watch that last week of the Olympics. I kind of watched what I was kind of excited to. Was more most of the stuff that I was excited to watch was more in the beginning. I'm not a big track and field guy. I don't find it necessarily, it's not my cup of tea. And also, I think too, the time, I probably would have been more prone to watching it if it just wasn't such like an inconvenient time over here in the States. So it was just like, it's one of those where it's like, I don't necessarily care enough to like go out of my way to watch it, because it's just such a, if it was on, then maybe, but like most of the stuff I wanted to watch was I did want to watch the basketball game, but once you already kind of know the score, I don't want to see it again. Like you ever have those moments where like you record a game or you don't want to see the score of a game, but you have it like recorded somewhere else, and you're trying to do everything you can to like block the notifications from your phone or like tune out the TV or whatever you can because you want to get home and watch your recorded game. So it's like as soon as I saw the score, I was just like, I don't even care no. I was like, I already know.
The last few events I was fortunate enough to watch because I just happened to be home and they were on TV. The men's Olympic. The finals, I was able to watch that. The women's finals, I was able to watch that. The track and field relays, for the women's, I was able to watch that. And I was actually able to watch one of the wrestling matches. I've been meaning to watch some wrestling.
I did hear about that guy.
I saw Kyle Dake's bronze medal match. So Kyle Dake, 4-time NCAA champion in 4 different weight classes. He even beat Jordan Burroughs, which is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. As a qualifier for this Olympic run. And he took home the bronze.
That was the guy from Georgia, right?
What was that?
Was that the guy from Georgia who had like the buzzer beater like point?
No, I don't think.
Oh, you don't know him? Oh, yeah, this was a big boy. There's I don't know what weight class he was, but he got like I think did he win gold or bronze? I don't remember, but I remember hearing the story. Like, he got a point literally on the buzzer beater. Like it was insane. It was an incredible story.
Yeah, I was able to see some of the men's wrestling I saw. I was watching like I think Korea and like Turkey. I was able to see some of the USA guys. Seen some of even the USA women's. I saw the USA women's wrestling champion. Tamara Mensah. I think I saw her wrestle. I saw her win the gold.
It was the first African American woman to win gold. And
which ones were they doing? The freestyle and Greco?
Yeah, it's freestyle and Greco. Those are the Olympic wrestling styles. Yeah.
And they have different weight classes. I think she was on the higher one. She was like 68 kilo or something. I don't know particular one, but I was able to see some.
I only know pounds.
60. It's like 130. It's kind of like double, but plus a little bit more, like 130 pounds, something like that.
So shout out to women, especially women's basketball. But can we talk a little bit about the men's basketball? Because last time we were talking, we put a lot of slander on USA basketball. We had a couple episodes. We're going to hit the panic button on USA basketball. I was of the opinion that hell yes, we should panic. You know what I mean? I know all the other teams got better, but I mean, we should at least dominate. We have the best players. I don't know if we have the best players on the court, but USA had the best players. So let's talk about USA men's basketball. Obviously, it's a little shaky in the beginning, but leading up to the actual finals,
they turned it up.
The gold. They turn up. I don't know if you guys saw the Instagram later. They had KD and Bam on a bio. They're like
KD
shouting out.
Draymond.
Yeah, they're shouting out LeBron James. Say, hey, we got the rosé, whatever his tequila's name is. He's like, oh, we got that in the cup or whatever. I don't know what's the name of his tequila. I don't know.
I don't
They're
know.
drinking
I don't know.
drinking down the bus. So, what's the overall like thoughts on the performance? USA turning it out, winning the gold when everybody doubted them.
All right. First and foremost, all right. One, yes, I did hit the panic button. Two, did I believe we could win the gold? Of course. But were they showing us that at the time? No, especially with the teams they lost to and when they lost. Obviously, it was early on. But then when you see that, right, because we're such a dominant, team, a dominant country in that sport. So, of course, you're going to have your doubters, man. If you're usually perfect and then, you're losing these games, you're going to think, you're like, what? Like, what's going on? But I do have to say, KD proved me wrong. Shout out KD. He proved me wrong. I give him the credit. Dropped 29 in the gold medal game. You know what I mean? In the previous Olympics and the gold medal games, he's dropped 30 plus. Basically 30 in the last 3 gold medal Olympics. I believe this is his 3rd gold medal, man. Kudos to you guys. Obviously, I was rooting for the USA team, man. That's who I wanted to win. And, when we're going off these episodes, we're going off how they were performing at that time. But, shout out to the guys, man. They definitely deserved it. It was a close game. They won by 5. It was pretty entertaining to watch, man. They came in clutch at the end.
Yeah, redemption game against one of the teams they lost to, France. And then they kind of had a tough road, too, because I think in the semis, didn't they play Spain as well? I'm pretty sure. So you had to go through Spain and France to win it. So you kind of went through the Olympic gauntlet of basketball right there, the hardest competition they could. So it was.
Julian, is KD the best player in the world? How about that? Last time we were talking about, Giannis, you want Giannis in the finals? He won the championship.
Here's my thing. I will say I think he's in the conversation. I don't think there's a set guy. I think it really is between KD and Giannis. I will say. I think I will lean towards Giannis. I think Giannis has such raw talent. His physicality and like everything about him is just he's just good. Like he's really good. And I feel like KD can be a little wishy-washy at times. Not to say that Giannis can either, but like I don't know. Like I think I'd still pick Giannis over KD if I had to choose.
I mean, honestly, I just said it to talk shit because last time we brought it up and you were giving me shit about KD is the best in the world. I just want to bring it up again, stir up some controversy shit.
Listen, look, I'm not the biggest KD fan because obviously I'm a LeBron fan. I'll take KD over Giannis any day.
Also, I will say too, winning gold in the Olympics, I think isn't as impressive as winning the NBA Finals, and also going through KD in the Nets.
I mean, it's still an accomplishment, right?
It's an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment.
It's not like there's 200 teams. It's not like there's 200 teams that you have to go through and face all of them. I mean, you're still playing your peers, whether they're a lot of these guys, like I said, are NBA caliber. Maybe they're not the number 1 on the team. Maybe they're like a number 10 or number 7, but they're still NBA caliber. Players.
Gabe, you can't convince me. Like going through the Nets and the Suns was a harder feat, I think, than winning gold.
It should be, I think.
It is.
Olympics should be easier for us. But in the beginning of this year, it didn't look like that. It looked a little shaky.
And to be fair to Giannis, he probably will never win a gold because of where he comes from. It's just like, apparently Greece is a good team, but USA will just always reign supreme for a long time at least.
Quick note.
And put it like this, Gabe. Honestly, man, we still didn't even have our A team out there.
Yeah,
did not have USA's golden A team.
You have no AD, had no Steph,
AD, Curry. You can even throw in names like Trey Young out there. There's just so many players that could have played and just dominate. Melo, bro, he could have brought back OG Melo to the Olympics.
He did not deserve to be on that team.
Melo, I'm sorry, I know KD.
No Kawhi either. No Kawhi.
Melo is still the Olympic god. He plays different. Olympic Melo is different.
Yeah, no Kawhi, no Paul George.
No Kawhi, no Paul George, no Westbrook,
Chris Paul,
no Harden, no James Harden,
Irving. Yeah, you're missing a lot of guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's dangerous. That is dangerous.
I don't even know what the starting 5 would be.
Nobody.
So let's wrap up the Olympics. Shout out to the USA. We won the most gold, won the most medals. Let's wrap up the Olympics. We're gonna set that to the side because over this past weekend, we had NBA trade deadline, right? It was the official beginning of the NBA off season, and when free agency, I guess, free agency watch.
A lot going on there.
And let's talk about the NBA, all the moves in the NBA, because we're talking about the premier top players in the league. Let's talk about all the NBA moves. Let's first move over to Los Angeles, to JoJo's team, Los Angeles Lakers. Give us an update on
because LeBron's there. So my
Yeah.
team because LeBron's there, but
So sad. So sad.
right, man. Yo, a very, very controversial stuff you see on the internet, right? And I'm gonna tell you guys this now, right? Y'all can make all your jokes. The internet can make their jokes. They're not gonna be making the jokes when the Lakers are back in the finals. Talking about they're the retirement team. That's the old man squad, and the only person that's gonna be running up and down the court is Westbrook. That's gonna be the only person.
Probably, dude.
Oh, listen, I think it's wild, right? We're looking for a point guard, and they acquired Russell Westbrook, triple-double king, combined with the king, LeBron James, and AD. Got some size back. They got Dwight Howard. You know what I mean? They got a little bit of some youth in. You got Kendrick Nunn, little speedy scorer on the court. Which I'm surprised the Heat decided, to make that decision. I don't know too much detail about the trades, but they got Kendrick Nunn, and and of course the most important, LeBron got his boy. What did I call him?
I mean, I forget.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
The Olympic god.
Yeah,
Carmelo Anthony.
God.
Oh, this guy.
The Olympic god is on the same team as LeBron James. Bro, 19 years down the road. You guys think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think
he should retire.
There's a lot of rumors.
18 years down the road.
Because they call them the Banana Boat Crew. We're talking about CP3, Melo, LeBron.
Bro, honestly, I thought they were gonna try to acquire.
At one point in time, I believe that they all were going to meet in, Miami. We obviously had the big three, the big move where everybody came down, and there was that rumor of like, oh, Florida is tax free, and there was that rumor they're going to, meet up together again because obviously the guys got drafted together and fixed. I think that's dope. I think it's dope that Carmelo's still playing. I have a hot take on Carmelo Anthony because I think he's a Hall of Fame player. He should go into the Basketball Hall of Fame because he's a college champion, Olympic champion. Although he doesn't have rings to show for it in the NBA, he's still one of the top players, in his prime. He was
top 10 scorer.
Hot take by Gabe. Hot take.
Put Melo in the Hall of Fame. He should be her first ballot.
Hey, listen, of course.
But Jojo, I want to go back to that first trade because you talked about that Westbrook trade. They had to get rid of some players. And I remember us talking in the chat, like we were like, "Yo, I hear rumors of they're trying to get rid of Kuzma." And I think Kuzma's a pretty good player. I don't know if he's, he wasn't starting, but I think he could be a starter on any other team in the league. So there was rumors they're gonna move Kuzma. But I think one of the biggest surprises is they moved Kuzma, was it Montrezl Harrell and KCP, right, to Washington to get that Westbrook trade. So Jojo, how do you feel about your Lakers like moving so much, 3 for 1? And I think they had to move some trade spots as well. So how do you feel about them moving so much just to get Russell Westbrook? Do you think he's going to be worth it?
I believe it was worth it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, we got the 6th man of the year. We were hyped. Montrezl Harrell. He did what he had to do last season, but he didn't live up to the 6th man of the year on the Lakers. But obviously, it depends. You can play a certain role on different teams, right? And it could bring out the best of you. And then when you get traded, you might be a different player in a different organization. But honestly, they were gonna trade Kuzma for anything, bro. They were gonna trade him for a stack of papers. It was his time. But not to say anything bad about him. It's just he wasn't living up to the expectations there in LA. And who knows? He might be a star on another squad. It might be the best move for his career. It might have been. He probably didn't want to leave. He did win a championship with them. It's your time to go.
I mean, with this move, Julian, do you think that moving those 3 players to Washington, do you think Washington steps up now and Washington is going to be a contender in the East?
I don't know, man. I think their best chance was to keep Westbrook and somehow supplement him with Bradley Beal. And it just, I don't know. I think they're a playoff team, but they're not making a run or anything. I mean, I feel bad for Washington fans. It kind of sucks, but I mean, this is the NBA now. Everybody wants to go play with each other, and I was like part when I first heard the news, I was just like, man, it was just like I felt like this year was so refreshing, like having a feeling like you don't know who's going to like. It was just so competitive, and now it's like we're kind of back to like these massive big three thing, and it's just kind of like, I mean, I know that's how the NBA is, but it was nice to have like at least 1 year where it was like you didn't know what was going to happen. Now it's. I mean, who's going to really take off the Lakers after this? I mean, unless the Suns can come back and really be powerful again. I
understand. I see what you mean there, but in my opinion, I still feel like it's anyone's game. You know what I mean? Like you look at the teams in the West.
I don't think I don't think it was like LeBron Cleveland on the East from years ago. I don't think it's going to be that easy of a run, but they're going back to being kind of favorites again, especially you get a healthy AD like. They're going to be pretty good. I don't know if the Jazz kind of showed that they didn't really show up in the playoffs at all. So, I mean, their toughest competition so far looks like the Suns, but we'll see with the new revamped team.
It's always the same teams, man. They'll have great regular seasons, and when it's playoff time, they don't show. That's why I called out the Utah Jazz, right? I mean, kudos to the Clippers. I called out the Clippers as well. They're down 0-2 in both series, ended up winning the series. Still didn't have what it took to make the finals.
Granted, you're missing Kawhi right there, so and they did better than I thought they would.
The Grizzlies in the mix over there as well. You know what I mean? And now you're having, if you get Klay Thompson back with Golden State, and Steph Curry is basically in MVP mode last season, and they have draft picks they just picked up, and they still have great young players that developed from this last season. So the Warriors could be right back in it. You have the Mavs with Luka, and if you know the way he's been balling, if they get the right pieces for him there,
he got a shit ton of money. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, he got but he needs pieces though. He needs pieces.
Phoenix pretty much keeping their whole squad together. You know, Chris Paul took the money. He decided to stay. He's committed there. You know, and if he played like he played last season with Devin Booker gaining that much experience in his first playoff run, like insane to bring himself to the finals. We forgot. Yeah, they didn't finish the job, but he's never made the playoffs, and he dropped back-to-back 40-point games in the finals.
Yeah.
So you know, there's some experience there. He might have won it, but experience is experience.
I am curious to see what Golden State does. I'm curious to see how Klay comes back after being gone for like almost 2 years virtually. So
I'm curious to see that. I hope he comes back as well as KD did off his injury. Like I'm really hoping that. I think that'll be really good for the NBA. You know what I mean? Obviously, we miss him, so we miss
the Splash Brothers. The Splash.
And man, let's talk about the East as well. Yeah, the Nets are stacked, but do you think Giannis and the Bucks are going anywhere after that last finals run? Oh, yo, the Knicks acquired Kemba Walker, man.
Yeah. I'm not too big on Kemba Walker. I think he's a little bit small, undersized, but the Knicks are poised. I think the Knicks have solidified themselves as a mid-tier team. Maybe not the top 3 elite in the East, but they're still like a mid-tier team. They're going to be a 4, 5, 6 seed. You know what I mean? I think that they're still equally there, and I kind of expect them to make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, it'll be a disappointment season. But I think until you can unseat the champions. I mean, this is Giannis's league. I've been waiting for Giannis to take over. Like I said, he's kind of this post LeBron player that's going to be the face of the league once LeBron retires. Hopefully, after whenever that happens, if that's next year or 2 years, whatever. Giannis is going to run this league. He's going to be the face of it, and it's his crown. And y'all gotta knock him off the throne. So, I still expect, the 3 teams to surprisingly. I'm still keep the 76ers up there. I don't know why. I don't believe them. I think they're.
You're a diehard Ben Simmons fan.
You're gonna have to say that one more time.
Gabe, say that again. Gabe, say that again.
Listen,
my speaker.
They're still a top team because they still have Joel Embiid. That's the only reason I'm gonna keep them up there. But as far as like other moves in the East, I mean we can kind of talk about because we can talk about the West, but there's really no major moves. I mean besides the Toronto. Miami trade. I mean, we can talk about that a little bit.
No, yeah. Let's go into Miami free agency, man. Miami free agency. Miami pulled out big moves, huge moves. I think they're now in contention. And Gabe, what do you think? You wearing the Heat jersey. What do you think their new starting five? What do you think their starting five is going to look like? And then how do you think they match up against the rest of the East?
Well, let's first start off with the biggest transaction of the offseason for the Miami Heat, which would be Udonis Haslem, $2.56 million.
Jesus Christ.
Left on the contract. Okay?
Jesus Christ.
Believe in you, okay? So he's going to start. He's going to start at the 4 and the 5.
Oh, my God.
He's going to play 2 positions. Obviously the biggest transaction with the Heat is the Kyle Lowry trade.
Big time.
And there's kind of rumors and talks and whispers about this. And actually, Miami is being investigated now for tampering. I guess somebody reported
during the trade deadline.
Miami Heat probably tampering. But here's the thing.
Hey,
here's the thing.
Did you leak some information, Gabe? Did you leak some information?
Gabe's a source. Gabe's a source.
Gabe, your source?
No. Here's the thing about tampering and shit. Like, all these players kind of know where they're gonna go ahead of time. They all go to the Olympics together. They all go to Summer League. They all hang out in the off season. They all work out. They go to each other's trainers. They come down to Miami they go to New York, whatever. They all know each other and talk to each other, so they kind of know what moves they're gonna make. And so when it comes to like tampering, like there was like a idea. There's for a long time there like rumors of like Victor Oladipo is gonna come to Miami. He likes Miami. He's very friendly. He's kind of like this culture, work hard ethic guy. They said the same thing about Kyle Lowry, and I think it's because Kyle Lowry was very friendly with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler really likes Kyle Lowry, and he was kind of. I guess there was also rumors that maybe they're trying to get Kyle Lowry and DeRozan together at the same time, but DeRozan obviously went to Chicago. As far as the moves they make, I think it's pretty big. I don't know if it's an upgrade. It's definitely a change. I really like Goran Dragic. I think he's easily Goran Dragic is easily a top 10 player in the Miami Heat. You look at the stats, he's top 10 in games played, top 10 in points, top 10 in assists, top 10 in I don't know.
Well, you're saying top 10 in the Miami Heat?
Miami Heat style, all-time Miami Heat franchise.
Oh, all time. I thought you're saying like on the current roster. I'm like, Gabe, that's not really saying much, man. I was like, yeah.
I'm talking about Heat player. I'm talking about Heat player contributions. He's higher in assists, or he's up there with like I forget, with like Eddie Jones. He's up there above Tim Hardaway, who has a retired jersey in Miami Heat. So Goran Dragic he's like, obviously I do like Goran Dragic. He's one of my favorite players. And he is easily a top 10.
He's definitely put on for the Heat.
He's a strong, reliable player.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So many games of him playing, and he puts it all on the line. But yeah, continue.
It was kind of hard to see him like leave. It kind of sucks too. But it's a move, but I'm like, did they really improve? I'm not sure. I gotta see it on the court. Obviously, they also picked up was it PJ Tucker? I was gonna say, yeah, PJ Tucker from the Milwaukee Bucks. He's more of a defensive guy. I don't know if he's gonna contribute offensively, how much he is, but
to throw that in there, I kind of like the pickup only because Miami Heat culture. You know what I mean? I think he'll get along well with Jimmy Butler and their style of play. Yes, he's there for defense, but that's a major plus because look who he guarded in the finals. Guarded Devin Booker majority of the finals, their best scorer. Whether Booker dropped 40 on him or dropped 15 in that one game or whatever it was, his low scoring game, like he was out there hand in the face, trying to grab rebounds. Like he was playing hard, and if he doesn't have a championship hangover and he brings that to the Heat, hey man, right? Defense wins championships. This guy was playing center on the Rockets.
Yeah.
Come on, like what I mean?
And don't forget.
Well, let's do like a quick overview. I was gonna say real quick. Let's try to do a quick overview of like what they all got. So obviously Kyle Lowry in the trade, sending Dragic over to Toronto. You got Duncan Robinson got an extension, contract extension. Obviously, we said picked up PJ Tucker. You extend Victor Oladipo. I forgot what exactly that entailed, how long it is for.
I think it was like a 1 or 2 year. It was
I think it's like a prove it type of thing. And then obviously you extend Jimmy Butler to some big time money.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is they're kind of in win now mode. A lot of those extensions they extend for like 2 or 3 years. So like this is the moves they made is like kind of a win now. They're not as splashy as I thought it was going to be in the offseason. Again, before this year, I was kind of expecting Giannis to come to Miami. That didn't happen. The rumor of Kyle Lowry, I'm like, that's fine. But you give up Goran Dragic.
I will say, I think you're getting as splashy as you could without picking up Westbrook. I think it's like as best as you could. I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot of question marks. Obviously, Oladipo is a big question mark. Like, can he go back to form of how he was? Can he stay healthy? Yeah, and go back to form of how he was those years in Indiana.
And
I mean,
also Bam Adebayo. A lot of this is banking on Bam Adebayo improving, and we saw him kind of shrink in the playoffs this year.
Yep. And
Where
I was
during the
thinking
season,
exactly that.
we saw where Butler was like getting mad. He would go into the press conference and be like, "Yo, he's got to step up. Like, we got to improve. We got to get better. Like, you can't be assisting and passing up balls. At some point, you got to take over the game." So a lot of this is banking on seeing improvements by Jimmy Butler, which I don't know. If he's in his prime or if he's past his prime, I don't know. We got to see after an offseason of rest. It banks on Bam Adebayo improving, and it banks on Duncan Robinson stepping up as well, because he had in the playoffs he did play pretty efficiently. He was pretty lights on, but during the season he had these runs where he was like a little bit cold, where he was like not confident and very like shaky, very iffy. So a lot of this is banking on seeing guys improve. Tyler Hero.
I was about to say, yeah, Tyler Hero is a big one. Can he go back to playoff perform? Like, he needs to go back to how he was there in the bubble. Like, if you get that same Tyler Hero, that's huge. That's really big.
So I'm fine with the I'm fine with the Kyle Lowry because he's a savvy veteran, whatever. He's a little bit smaller, but he's a veteran around the league. I see him doing well in assists, assisting other guys, passing the ball. But a lot of this is banking on the main core guys: Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler. They all got to improve, and if they don't improve, I don't see them going. It's going to be rough.
What do you think the starting five is? What do you think the starting five is?
It's going to be Bam. It's going to be PJ Tucker. It's going to be Duncan. Duncan always plays.
And paid.
Yeah.
And Lowry.
And then Butler and Lowry. And then you got Hero coming in as a 6-man.
Yeah, Hero will be 6-man coming off the bench.
Do they compete with Milwaukee and Brooklyn? I think they're definitely a better team than Philly. I think Philly's going to take a big step down.
Oh, for sure.
I think Philly's going to take a big step.
Unless Ben Simmons comes back and surprises us all this offseason.
That's not fucking happening.
That's the only way.
That's not fucking happening.
That is the only way.
Oh,
now,
real quick,
my take on the Heat, because I agree with Gabe. Now, you need Bam to play like a max player.
There's a lot of question marks. Yeah.
You got that money, right? So if Bam plays like a max player, and you need to utilize your big man for some offense. You know what I mean? You got guys like Giannis in the league who he's scoring. He's taking you to the hole. You know what I mean? He's not looking to pass, obviously, only if he needs to benefit his team. Bam needs to play that way. Now, getting Kyle Lowry, I feel like really helps the Heat because he's a shot creator. He's a playmaker. Now that alleviates a lot of the pressure of Jimmy Butler, who is a two-way player, but he's not really a naturally gifted scorer. He's a hard worker, but you got a guy like Kyle Lowry coming in, naturally gifted scorer. He could knock down the tough three, the mid-range. He could take it to the hole, and that's going to leave a lot of pressure off Butler, who can focus on that defense or, his post play. And you got guys like Duncan Robinson, which is always risky, but I know it's a or die from the three kind of league right now. But he needs to have an efficient year or develop another form of offense. You know what I mean? You can't really rely from the three the whole time, especially if you're a starter, man. I mean, unless you're a Klay Thompson kind of shooter, but even Klay has some moves, take it to the hole. He's savvy. You know what I mean? He has a nice little mid-range floater. If Duncan Robinson could bring that this season instead of, just straight three-pointers, because you've seen him play, like, nothing against it, but that's really all he can pretty much do.
Well, I think the same thing goes for Tyler Hero, too. I mean, it goes in, like, he needs to step up. I mean, he digressed like a lot. Like, he really needs to at least come off the bench and be good and start here or there. Like, he needs to show up.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like that first run, like I said, you know what I mean? That gave him, the spotlight, you know what I mean? That set up his expectations up here, for his sophomore season. Of course, everyone's gonna be a little disappointed compared to how he played his rookie season, and I think he needs to get back in the ladder and just get to that point, like you mentioned, Julian, to where he was. You know what I mean? Whether it's playing in front of fans or the traveling, anything like that, which changed a lot of the players' like routines.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so I don't know if you want to talk about any other notable moves. We had Dennis Schroeder, who kind of left. He left the Lakers. I think he went to free agency. Ended up signing to the Celtics for like the minimum, right? The mid-level exemption. Probably could have got like $50 million from the Lakers. Been on a championship team, but he goes over to the East. I don't know if you guys feel about that. I mean, I see your reaction.
Oh, Jojo, you got something to say? Yeah.
Definition of fumble the bag. Listen, man. There's nothing wrong with betting against yourself. In this particular situation, he bet way too much. And look at his contract now. He thought he could get more money in free agency leaving. He had a pretty good deal with the Lakers, first and foremost. For them to get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs and to have him to reconsider him to re-sign him with that amount of money, I would have signed that. So I don't know what happened with him and his agent. He thought he had an MVP type of season for whatever reason. I don't know. He's a good player, man, but you reaching out for more and then what you have to settle with now, that's a lot of money. And I'm not a millionaire. He is already. But dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
Also, now he's in a situation where he has to prove himself to earn another big contract. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, he could have stayed with the Lakers and been a contender, but I guess not. We can also talk about Kawhi. Kawhi coming back. Obviously, I think he opted out, but then ended up re-signing again with the Clippers. Julian,
shocking.
How do you feel about the Clippers this year? Do you think they're still going to be up there?
I mean, they're going to be. They're going to be a playoff team. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say they were a disappointment. I mean, you lose your best player on the team and still make it to the Western Conference Finals. Paul George stepped up, surprisingly. I thought they did better. They made it farther than I thought they would. I didn't think they'd get past the Jazz. And honestly, I didn't think they would really win that many games against the Suns. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised Kawhi didn't want to go anywhere else. They didn't really make any moves to add anybody. I mean, I guess you're really hoping that Paul George can play like he did in the playoffs and do it again, just with Kawhi. But I think Paul George, he's one of those guys, man. He always has a hard time. He has a hard time being a two. Like, I feel like he never plays well as a two. He always plays really good when he's the guy, but he's never like good enough to be like the surefire guy. He's like this like in between being the superstar or like the backup superstar. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys feel that way. Like, I feel like when he's like the guy, he performs well, but he's never like super dominant. Like, he's always like really good. But when he plays behind somebody, he's never like that great. Huh?
Talking about Kawhi or PG?
Paul George.
Yes. Great point. Because I was going to mention that when the pressure's on and he's the main guy, he will perform. Now, that's exactly what he did in the Pacers. Yes, he had a pretty decent team, Lance, you know what I mean? These other players, but he was the guy. Right. He teams up in OKC. We all saw what happened there. He teams up with the Clips, you know, with Kawhi and them, and you know, around the players, you know, you got Patrick Beverly, heavily, you know, top defense team, and you know, we saw his scoring struggles. We're all wondered what happened. Now, when you see when Kawhi Leonard, you know, gets injured and he's the man, this is not to say that he's a selfish player or anything, but when he has help on the court, he's not going to maximize his full potential.
Which is sad because that Clippers team, like if he plays as good as he did by himself, as he did with Kawhi, like that team could be really dangerous.
They're a contender for sure. If they have that Paul George and like that all the time, as if you have no help.
I think too, he kind of lacks. I mean, obviously I'm not like in the locker room or everything, but just like looking at him, it seems like he just kind of lacks emotion and like leadership almost. Like, seems like he just kind of goes out there and kind of plays his own game, and that's kind of it.
I feel like he's kind of like kind of guy too. He knows he has all these haters. He tries not to show that it bothers him. Whether I missed the game winning shot, okay, or I missed that free throw, okay, kind of thing. Like that's what I get off watching him from the game, like.
Yeah, he just seems just very just like, I don't know, like nonchalant.
In between of being the leader and being vocal and showing everybody that you're the man, and you know, I'm still gonna take the last shot, but I'm not gonna show like I'm the leader on the team, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like he kind of seems like the type of guy like you don't necessarily go to battle with. Like he's just like he's not like firing up the team. He's not really in. I mean, kind of Kawhi's doing that too, and maybe that's part of the problem over there in Los Angeles. Like maybe you need like that guy, like Phoenix had Chris Paul, or like Lakers have LeBron. Like you need like that guy that's going to hold people accountable and really like force people to play better. You know?
I mean, granted, we don't know what's going on in their little huddles or timeouts, or we just, going off of what we see, you know what I mean? But when you see LeBron and Chris Paul play, they're all up in those plays, they're drawing it out, they're pointing people out, they're moving people.
Yeah. And that's what makes greatness. I mean, we all seen Last Dance. Like that's how you win, man. That's how you win.
And also just kind of wrap up the last, I guess, NBA moves. LiAngelo Ball signs with Charlotte, right? He signed to the Summer League that's going on right now. How do you guys feel about the Ball brothers meeting up in Charlotte? Who is the better brother?
I think it's a dope opportunity for him. He didn't get his fair shot, and he's been balling. I mean, unfortunately, listen, man, prove him wrong, bro. I'm actually rooting for the guy. You already got your two brothers. You're the middle child. You're the forgotten child. The media forgot about you. Everyone forgot about you. Kind of left you out, out in the woods, while your older brother and your younger brother's in the NBA, and he never got a fair shot. And, due to his brother's success, rookie of the year with the Hornets, obviously, that gave him his shot in the Summer League. And the best thing you can do is prove people wrong. And from his first two games, that's what he's doing. This guy's a sharpshooter out there, and he's playing hard. He's hustling. He's grabbing rebounds. I don't know if you saw anything, Gabe or Julian, man. What do you guys have to say about this?
I mean, I've only heard a couple news about it. I saw actually when the transaction happened, and I mean, obviously it makes sense. You kind of see these things where like the brothers. There was like talks of like Milwaukee picking up Robin Lopez, and so they had Brooke Lopez, Robin Lopez, and then the Holiday brothers, right? They had Drew Holiday. I forget the other brothers' names. So I was like, oh, that's kind of expected. I mean, I don't know if it makes them any better. I mean, it's just kind of cool to have them on the same team, just like Giannis with his brother.
I mean, yeah, you don't really know if it'll make them better yet because we haven't really seen them play. To be honest, like,
yeah.
When's the last time you really seen them like actually play? Aside from Lithuania or his dad's league was the last time he played. But look at the competition that we're playing. Now he's playing essentially NBA talent, and for what he was doing. And I advise you guys, man, if y'all can see one of these Summers games and see him play, form your own opinion of him, or look at the highlights for the last few games that he was in. I feel like he could make it, man. If he's performing the way, he could earn a spot on that roster.
Possibly. It's not like a super deep roster as it is. I mean, it's talented, but he has opportunity. And see if he makes the most of it.
It's kind of like this wait and see. Like I'm not really too big on Charlotte in general. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, if he can earn a spot, I mean, that'll be fine. I don't think it really helps that much, but it's like, hey, whatever. I mean, that's just kind of cool. I think it's cool in general. If you get to fucking play basketball with your brother in a professional team, I think that's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've seen so far, when I seen him play, I'd compare him to a Seth Curry. He can shoot. He can dribble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a little, not too athletic, but athletic enough to grab some boards. I'm not saying he's gonna be out there Westbrook dunking on people, but he has some game to him.
So overall, what was like I guess we kind of touched on a lot, but what was like the most impressive move you saw this off season? We'll start with you, Julian. Anything that impressed you with the transactional moves? I mean, a lot of people. There was a couple moves when a lot of people just re-signed up with their team. Was there anyone in particular that stood out to you?
I guess the big Westbrook trade. I did not see Washington doing that. I thought he was going to stay there. I thought Washington was going to do what they wanted. I thought Washington was going to be on the come up. I thought maybe they were going to make some moves, but it seemed like, what was the point of trading for him? You're just going to get rid of him. I mean, you get some draft capital and everything, but I don't know. And maybe they don't want to deal with him. That could be a thing. Who knows? Because he is a personality.
Would you agree with him? I guess. I mean, it's your team.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like that was the highlight of everything. Him teaming up with LeBron and AD. I think that's going to be ridiculous. Some people say it might not work. know what I mean, on their play styles. But if they want to come together and reach that goal of winning a championship, they're gonna have to set all that extra stuff to the side and just play basketball. And I feel like, again, LeBron's getting older. You got Westbrook out there. He's gonna be running the floor, helping LeBron, or an AD, that athleticism. That alleviates a lot of running and jumping, and it does help a lot. Like, it really does. We know what he can do, bro. Like, this guy, he can do it. He's a triple double king. He can do everything. That's literally what it is. Every stat category.
All right. So I say, go, Gabe. Yeah, go.
I would say the biggest transition I saw this offseason was Alex Caruso to the Chicago Bulls. I think y'all sleeping on him. He's baby Jordan. Okay. Biggest move, Alex Caruso. Watch out. Buy it now. Julian, buy that NFT now.
Okay, I got it. I'll buy this fucking Topps card.
Alex Caruso. I'm telling you now, right? Guarantee. Alex Caruso, MVP next year.
MVP.
All right,
let's go. Is he gonna grow his hair back too, or what other miracle is gonna happen?
You'll see, man. He's magical, dog. He might. He's magical. Let's transition. Let's get on to NBA basketball. Obviously,
I was gonna say, switching to another sport. I think we should talk about probably the biggest free agency move in one of the biggest in all of sports in history.
Besides Udonis Haslem. Not Udonis Haslem, right?
No, we're going over across the pond. Lionel Messi leaves Barcelona after 21 years, after being there since the age of 13 years old, playing in their youth academy. He's finally leaving. He has not played for another team since he was 12 years old.
Wow.
Now, Julian, you're our resident soccer fan. You've been watching way more soccer than both of us.
All I have to say real quick before you ask that question, what name do you have in the back of that jersey, if you have a name? There we go.
That's why he wanted to talk about it.
There we go. You're going to have to buy the new one, my friend. You're going to have to retire that, frame it up, put it somewhere. Hope you enjoyed wearing this for the last time on this episode.
Yeah, I'm not a PSG guy, though. But, I mean, not a PSG guy. But before we go into, PSG, I mean, let's just talk about, it's crazy. I mean, one hell of a run, dude. One hell of a run for Barcelona, and he wanted to stay there. I don't know how much you guys followed exactly what happened and kind of the drama behind it.
Pay cut. He said he'll take a 50% pay cut.
He's going to take a 50% pay cut because Barcelona and La Liga as a whole has been their financials have been terrible. A lot of those soccer leagues like Serie A and Italy, and they just I mean, what was going to happen? Apparently, I think it was something to the extent that, because Barcelona they're going bankrupt, and they were going to work together as the entire La Liga to help pay for Messi's contract. But then the other teams are like, why would we pay for his contract? Because it's in the best interest for La Liga to have Messi in the league.
Yeah, you want to keep your player you want to keep him in that league.
A lot of teams, a lot of teams are really struggling, and then on top of that, you don't really want to put your finances to help this team win another championship. And it's just
another example of teams promising these players money that they don't have. I don't understand when they go through their financials.
Yeah,
drop these ridiculous contracts, which we're all amazed by. We're like, wow, he's the highest paid. Where's this money coming from?
Well, the difference is over there. I mean, they don't have the money. I mean, here in the NBA and baseball and football, they have the money to pay these guys over here. It's over there. I mean, when you really think about it, and this is a very controversial thing in the soccer world, promotion relegation type of thing. I've always thought these leagues are struggling because of that. They're not having a stable set of teams because you're dealing with this promotion relegation thing. And I know people in Europe will absolutely trash you for saying that. And these Europe fanboys that live in America will trash you for saying that. But to me, I think there's a reason why American sports are 4 out of the 5. The most profitable, we talked about this, are the most profitable leagues in the world, and the only other one that can get in there is the Premier League in England, and they're the only ones that can really have the fan base and the market to really make promotion relegation work. And these other teams, they can't do it because think about it. Nobody knows all these other teams inside these leagues. You know Barcelona and you know Real Madrid. And if you really follow soccer, you know Atletico at Madrid and you know like Sevilla and like Villarreal. And then like PSG, the fucking Ligue 1, like PSG's been winning that championship for like fucking 20 years now. Like no, like there's no competition. And then like Italy, they're struggling. It's like the only place that could really do the system correctly is England. So yeah, so they couldn't afford to do them. PSG has a shit ton of money. They're doing very well. So as soon as it became available, there was rumors of him possibly coming to the MLS, which I thought was very huge stretch. And then, but the big things was either he's going to PSG or Man U to play for his old coach. But I didn't think he was going to England. They openly said it. So goes to PSG. PSG is now a fucking stacked team. They should be. They are the clear favorites to dethrone Chelsea as in the Champions League. I mean, you have Neymar on the left, you're gonna have Messi on the right, you're gonna have Mbappe in the center. They just picked up.
That's ridiculous.
They just picked up Sergio Ramos after playing 16 years in Real Madrid on part of their defensive line. Obviously, a couple years ago, they signed one of the best I think is the best goalies, the Costa Rican international Keylor Navas. Like after playing in Real Madrid, so that team is fucking stacked. They have 3 of the 5 best strikers in the world. It's gonna be wild. I would say that I'm a little curious to see how this dynamic works, but Neymar and Messi, they played together before and it worked out and it worked well. The big question is Mbappe, like how is he gonna like react now that he's kind of getting like stuff taken away? So yeah, it's awesome. It's crazy. And this is the first time he's ever had to go through a free agency process and do a physical for another team and everything. I was like, it's insane. And he signed a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option, but I personally think he's going to play 2 years and then he's going to come over to MLS because I think he's openly said that he wants to play in America and he wants to make a name in the U.S. market. But I think he's done after Europe. He's going to play 2 years there. I think he either comes to the MLS or he goes back and plays for his childhood hometown team
in the world. Most famous in the world. We know him from here, and you know, our soccer fan base isn't that big. So imagine he goes play over here. I will go buy tickets to soccer games to go see him.
And obviously the favorite's Inter Miami because of where we are. He has a condo in Miami. I mean, you have the David Beckham. We have the big lore of Inter Miami. So that, and I mean, it'd be great for not even just Inter Miami, but MLS as a whole. I mean, look what David Beckham did for MLS. Like he kind of, Zlatan, like, I mean, but especially David Beckham, he was the pioneer to really come over here and do stuff. I mean, look, he owns Inter Miami because of the fact that he moved over here and decided to play. So it could be a big thing. I think he either goes there or he goes back to Argentina and plays for his childhood team, Old Boys. So we'll see, but it's awesome. That's great for Messi. It's kind of a sad, everybody who cried during the Barcelona thing, the press conference, but that's crazy, and it's rough for La Liga and Barcelona. Especially they just signed a ESPN deal, and you know ESPN was thinking that Messi was going to be there because they're actually going to start playing games on ESPN now.
So yeah, Jojo, that's why when you bring up, why should the other teams pay to have him there? Because if you don't keep him in that league, you know, you lose that appeal, right? That's like LeBron going to play, I don't know, in the
overseas.
Was it the big 3, right? The Ice Cube's big 3. Like, I was like him leaving the NBA to go play in the big 3. He's like, yo, why would the NBA ever have that? I mean, I highly doubt he would ever do that, but you don't want to lose that appeal. And, you know, going back to what Julian said, like being an international player, if you're to be a soccer player in the US, you really don't make that much money. There's, you know, other sports make way more money. Football makes more money. Baseball makes more money.
For sure.
Basketball makes more money. So if you're
there's a lot more competition. That's the problem with soccer. It's such a world sport.
But so because it's a world sport and there's like a lot of more, you know, it's more internationally big and there's more sports books that cover the game. There's actually more money to be made in international play. So, and like, you know, like Julian said, he's been there since he's like 13 years old. So like, it's crazy just to be a 13-year-old. Like imagine being like a middle school or something and, you know, you grow up to be the world's, you know, still top 3 player in the league, Julian? Would you say he's still top 3?
Oh, he's the best player in the world. He's the best player to ever
He's the
live.
best. The best.
And I don't know if you
The
guys
best.
like know and why, like, because I know like a lot of my friends they don't really follow soccer and they thought that was weird because like how it's done in Europe and they do it in the MLS now. They have what's called like academies, and basically you sign up your kid to go play under these big club academies, and throughout your years, if you're good, you slowly go up to like their U12 team, their U14 team, their U17, their U20, U23, and then their B team, and then you get called up to their first team. So it's kind of like this whole thing that like parents will put their kids in at like 7 years old into these academies, hoping one day to work their way all the way up to the top of the first team.
Wow,
it's kind of interesting, and that's why like Inter Miami, one of their big focuses is really developing their academy to help local soccer here.
They have an academy. I seen it somewhere. I don't know if it was an
every
email.
team does. Every team does. It's kind of like a requirement by the MLS to do it. And like speaking of like the whole league paying as a whole, like when David Beckham first came, like he kind of set that standard. Like they paid. MLS as a whole helped pay Beckham's contract. LA Galaxy couldn't solely afford it. The whole league as a whole bought his contract, and they said, if you come to our league, you can open up an expansion team. So it took a lot. So
threw that in his like package to get over here.
Yeah, and then with like Zlatan, they had to do like some backwards thing. Like they had to like pay like a company in Sweden or something like that to like to get him over here, because he was he was the highest paid, and then he left and went to Italy, I think he's at now, and he was making like $8 million a year or something like that, which is pretty high for the MLS, which it was the record for the MLS.
When those players come over, a lot of time they're coming over on lease, right? You buy the rights to the contract, so you can borrow them from the other teams, but they go back to their main, they go back to Europe, their main leagues, whatever. So, and obviously it makes sense, right? Because if you have, you bring a guy like Messi into MLS, which, there's a lot of rumors of him coming to Miami. I've been hearing that for like the past year since the new.
That's all the owners been talking about.
Yeah, but think about it, because then they go to Atlanta, they play New York, they go to LA, and you got to think about how many fans are going to come out to those games, right? Because that's going to boost your attendance and boost your attention. You can sell more tickets if you get the top three player, number one player in soccer to come play. So it kind of makes sense on a business, just as in general as a whole, to elevate the sport, to bring the best players to your league. And you pay that price because you can make it up in selling Ritz crackers or something.
Especially if you can bring them on like right after the World Cup. MLS always performs really well after the World Cup because of the natural interest of soccer. And I think soccer as a whole is just really growing here, because now we're starting to get like actual stars playing well in Europe and things like that, like your Pulisic's and all that. So like we're really on the rise of really, really moving. And as long as we keep on expanding and everything, and these teams keep on growing in value. I mean, every year there's a new team building a stadium, bro. Every single year. Like I think 3 stadiums were built this year: FC Cincinnati, Austin FC, and Columbus Crew. Like they're all building their own soccer-specific stadiums.
So speaking of talking to our resident soccer master guy, speaking of improving in international soccer, do you want to talk about CONCACAF? We didn't really talk about it, but you want to speak up on CONCACAF?
Oh, the Gold Cup?
CONCACAF champions?
Yeah, Team USA, the C team, beat Mexico's A team. So with 19 players out of the 23 being in the MLS, which is pretty impressive for the MLS and US players as a whole, because that's it's really I think it's a statement for the MLS. I think it's showing that we're getting better. I think right now what's going on is called the Leagues Cup, because MLS is trying to promote with Liga MX, the Mexican league, to kind of promote together and like play against each other and stuff like that, because they've always kind of been slightly better than us, that league. But it seems like now we're at the point where we're kind of better than them now. And then, I mean, we're competitive, obviously, but we have a lot more. I would say MLS has a lot more competitive teams than Liga MX does.
Yeah.
Especially because they have less teams. But yeah, man, it's awesome.
to recap that game, JoJo, USA beat Mexico like 1-0. It was like late in the game. It was almost like the 90th minute.
I heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he said, we had the C team. A lot of the premier players were already going back to Europe.
We had no Europe players, no European players playing. Yeah, we didn't even have a B team, not even a B team.
Pulisic, who just came back from Chelsea, who won the English Cup over there,
the Champions Cup.
A lot of the top players were gone. So like this is kind of an accomplishment. Like USA, they're actually getting better, even though they put out a crap team. But that's it for soccer talk. We just want to talk about real quick MLB because tomorrow or Thursday is the Field of Dreams game because they actually put a stadium out in Iowa. They built a stadium around the movie Field of Dreams. I don't know if y'all know. It's like the top 10.
Well, no, what they did was they added to the stadium. It was actually a movie set already, and they added to it to make it MLB regulations.
Yep.
Yeah, and the movie is just like a couple benches, but here they built like a whole facility. It looks like a minor league thing. Like they have a whole seats and whatever.
Yeah, and they put fences around the cornfield, and then they added did you see the MLB logo in the cornfield?
No, I didn't see
that. That's pretty dope.
It's pretty sick, yeah. And
that's
dude,
dope.
I was gonna say before the show started, the ticket sales for that are insane. The resale,
they're like $1,200.
Like 14. No, I saw one is $14,000 people were paying to get into that game, and that's insane.
And it's in a cornfield in the middle of Iowa.
Yo, and look, to talk about the tickets, because I was questioning who got the tickets, how are they able to purchase the tickets, and all that stuff. So I figured it out. How were the tickets distributed? So the Field of Dreams game has proved to be one of the hottest tickets in recent sports memory. For sure. Who wouldn't want to attend that game? That's once in a lifetime right there. A lottery was held for the people with Iowa zip codes to attend the contest. A sellout crowd is expected. So they held the lottery for the residents there in Iowa.
Yeah.
Hence why the resale value is insane, because you already know you're going to have people from major cities, New York, out here in Miami, LA,
Chicago. It's not even that far.
Chicago, you know what I mean? St. Louis, they're going to attend this game. Boston. That's insane, bro. So that's wow. So if you had an Iowa zip code, you live there, you get your little lottery to win these tickets.
Or you could just go put your name in there, and then you can actually get some serious cash and be kind of like a mini lottery.
So that's gonna be going on tomorrow. The Yankees are playing the White Sox. But Jojo, you want to give an update on your Yankees? How they've been playing since the All-Star break? We didn't really talk about MLB or any transactions, but you can give us any updates on your New York Yankees and how they're doing so far.
And all I gotta say is I couldn't be prouder right now. If you asked me before that All-Star break how we were looking to make the playoffs, honestly, the season was over in that time. But knowing the Yankees, they made the right moves to put us in the best position possible to make a little playoff run. Right now, we're still sitting third in the NL East. Man, we are creeping. A game and a half behind Boston. We've been playing terrible, and I'm super excited about that because we all know how I feel about that team. So I don't give a about that. And we got Tampa in first place still. We're only a few games behind. But, man, since we acquired Rizzo and, Joey Gallo, heavy-hitting lefties, bro, we've been playing amazing. And we're still having bad luck. A ton of players out on the IL, whether it's COVID or, minor injuries. We're calling up a lot of young guys who are proving themselves actually right now. But man, I feel like we're in a really good spot to push for that. The wild card, we're only a game behind or a game and a half behind. But I feel like, we could take our division and like this. Gabe and I, we went to the Yankee Marlins game about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Out here. It was lit. I went to all 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, Gabe, how fun was that game?
It was a lot of fun, man. Actually, Rizzo hit a home run. I think it was in the 7th inning. It was that Saturday game. Most of the crowd was rooting for the Yankees. I wore my Yankee shirt.
It was Yankee Stadium.
Wow, Gabe, what a fake. Damn, I'm about to tear down that banner in your bedroom. What a fake.
I'm a Yankee ahead. When I started following baseball, I was a Yankees fan to begin with. And they got a better team than the Marlins because the Marlins not going to have a good year this year.
That's maybe sad that shit was literally like a home. That's so sad. That's like a home game.
It happens all the time. like I said, if you look at the Marlins franchise, we're like 30 years old now. They've been since 1997. So, but these teams have been around since like the 1900s. So they have generations of fans. You know what I mean?
And we all know, a ton of New Yorkers obviously moved to Florida. But I gotta say, on the Friday game, there was a guy holding up a sign that said "New York pizza sucks." I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it. I had to say a few things to him. I had to say, I wanted to have to say a few things, and they put him on the mega screen,
the jumbo,
the big screen,
with
a sign up saying "New York pizza sucks." Florida pizza tastes like cardboard, straight cardboard out here.
Yeah.
In his defense, I haven't had a good slice yet. I mean, I've been there a few times. Maybe I've been going to the wrong places. I don't know. But
no, we all know you're a Chicago guy. It's okay. You like the deep dish. I get that.
No, right? I like that. I like that pizza. I just haven't had a good one. But like I said, I do like. You're not wrong though. I do love that style. I do like that deep dish.
Gabe and Julian, game 3, you guys weren't there, but I had some pretty good seats there. Your boy even got a foul ball, a little souvenir from the game. And
who was that off of?
That's your 5-year-old. Is that your 5-year-old handwriting? Let me see that.
Did you write on it?
I did.
Is that kindergarten?
Yankees versus Marlins. I put foul ball and I put the date 8/1/21. Little souvenir. You know what I'm saying? Get my money's worth out here.
Yeah.
Listen, man. I don't get to see the Yankees play. I don't get to see the Yankees play as often as I used to, obviously, because I live out here. And they come once every 2 years. No, I had to make it worth it, man. I had to make it worth it. It was a great weekend. Then went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I went 2 years ago when they came out here. And it's just a lot of fun, which it got me really engaged, into watching the games a lot more. I've been, lucky enough to be off during the game times. And man, we're winning, bro. We've won almost every series coming off this trade deadline, or actually every series coming off this trade deadline. We're shooting for that first place.
So definitely,
are you?
Shout out to Yankees. We're gonna keep. Ivan, you what? What are you gonna say?
Are you ready for some football?
I guess so.
We're going back to soccer.
Are you ready for some football?
So obviously, NFL starting up. We're still when is that? Is it officially week 1?
Let's go. The king is back. That's all I gotta say. The king is back. The NFL, the league, the king of all leagues.
Here we go.
The king is back.
Before we even get started, I got a question for you two gentlemen here. Before we even get started, it's about the NFL. Who do you think has the best chance to win the Super Bowl out of these 3 players up for this upcoming season? Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
Let's start with you, Julian. And why?
Josh Allen, and it's not even close, dude. Like, to me, I think, Josh Allen's the best player out of all 3 of them, and obviously, we'll get into it later with his contract, but that proves it. My thing, I think the Bills are in a better position to win it all. They just got to get over that hump that is the Kansas City Chiefs. That is going to be their biggest hurdle they need to get over. I mean, they got destroyed by the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, so they need to get over that hurdle. And they
were a concussion away from winning. Remember, because he got knocked out in that game. I think Patrick Mahomes and
toe, right?
Came in. Right, Chad Henne came in.
No. That was in the Bills game. That was the
wasn't that the Bills
the Browns. It was the Browns. It was the Browns game.
The Browns game.
Yeah, it was Chad Henne came in. Yeah, but that was the Browns game because that's when he fucked up his.
Concussion away from not winning, from not going to the Super Bowl.
But yeah, I mean I don't think the Ravens really got better. It seemed like they added Sammy Watkins. They drafted some guys. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of a improvement, but I don't necessarily think. I'm not even sure if they're going to win the division, let alone make it to the Super Bowl. I think they're probably the favorites, but you still got to go through the Browns, which look to be like they're not the same old Browns anymore. Obviously, it's trendy to trash on the Steelers, but honestly, Steelers always find a way to win, man. They always find a way. You got probably one of the best coaches in the league right now, Mike Tomlin. And you got one of the best quarterbacks, Ben Roethlisberger. Like, they always find a way to win. So, like, you can never count out the Steelers. But yeah, I mean, Josh Allen, the Bills are most likely going to win the division. I mean, obviously you got to go through Miami and New England, but they're the favorites to win it. So they're probably going to get that bye. And then, oh wait, never mind. They're not doing the top 2 team bye. My bad. But yeah, I mean, Josh Allen has. I mean, they're a Super Bowl contender. They could win it this year if they can get by the Chiefs. That's the big thing.
To answer your question, Jojo, I'd agree with him. I think Josh Allen has probably the most poised to like dominate the division. As I say, not to throw shade on Lamar Jackson. I think he's gonna do. He'll be fine. I think he'll have a good year. But I think Josh Allen kind of lived up to his contract, and you kind of see what how much the Bills believe in him. They have a really good team, man. The Bills have a really good team. When my Dolphins were not in it anymore, I was kind of rooting for the Bills to go all the way. I think they had probably the best chance to beat Patrick Mahomes, and they didn't. So we'll see. I haven't looked at too much at the Bills roster moves they did this offseason, but I think they're set to compete again. They'll probably be back up there in the conference final again. So to answer your question, Josh Allen.
And here's my thing too Lamar Jackson, to me, he has to prove that he can sit in that pocket and throw. I mean, obviously they found a lot of success from running the football, and he's extremely athletic.
I agree.
But when you're going against Patrick Mahomes and you're going against Josh Allen and you're going against a lot of up and coming guys, like I think obviously Herbert, I think Chargers are going to be in the conversation. Obviously, like you still got to deal with Baker Mayfield, which I'll get to into a second. But like you gotta throw the ball, man. Like you gotta air it. And obviously, I'll give him, in his defense, he didn't have a lot of weapons. But I don't know if you guys saw, like, I think during OTAs, everybody was trashing him and saying that the Ravens' Twitter did him dirty because there's a clip of him throwing one wobbly-ass ball to Sammy Watkins. Yeah. But, and then as for Baker, he's, to me, it's not him. Well, the thing is, Baker had as we talked about since, like, when we first started this podcast at the beginning of the NFL season last year, Baker had a lot of up and down games, and to me, he's got to be consistent, which we'll see with this upcoming year. I think if he performs this well, he's going to get a fat contract end of next year. So he's really got to show up. And then the one thing, if you look at the Browns' record, they've had a really easy schedule last year. They had a really easy schedule. So we'll see. They should have a tougher schedule. You get Odell back. And you got Clowney added to that defensive line alongside with Myles Garrett. So yeah, I mean, obviously you're getting Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So they should be a good team. But yeah, I mean, Josh Allen to me is far superior than those guys.
Isn't Baker Mayfield coming up for a contract extension too? Because I've been seeing like a lot of stuff on Twitter about
I think it's going to happen after this year. I think after this year, depending on how well he plays, like he's going to get a contract extension. But this kind of leads us to our next big topic. Josh Allen gets a massive, massive contract extension, the biggest one in NFL history. He gets, let me check the numbers, I think 6 years, $258 million, $150 million guaranteed, and $100 million off signing. He's getting $100 million, which, to put in perspective, he is, I believe Patrick Mahomes had $141 million guaranteed. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, I think, took too long of a deal. He took kind of a team-friendly deal. I think he took too long of one. But obviously, who knows? They'll rework it and find a way to give him more money. But yeah, I think Josh Allen set the market, man. I think this contract is going to set the market for when you see Lamar coming in there. You have, Lamar coming up. You have, like you said, Baker Mayfield coming up. Yeah, man. That's insane. I mean, I think he deserved it. He progressively got better every single year. I think this last year was a big prove it year. Like, all right, you need to do something. You need to show something. You have a ton of potential. You have an insane arm, big hands. You're mobile. You're smart with the ball. Like, you need to do something. And he showed up. I mean, obviously, Stephon Diggs made a huge jump in the production for this team, for that team.
Having him definitely helped him look good. Having Diggs definitely helped them look like a great player as well.
But Jojo, how do you feel about your hometown Buffalo Bills?
I knew he was going here with it. I knew it. No, not the hometown. Are you talking about what their potential location?
What do you think of this contract? How does it set the market for these other guys? And do you think they're contenders? Do you think they're contenders?
I do have a question on how these contracts are generated. So, do you guys feel like it's based off what they have proven or on their potential?
It's a mix of both, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both.
Because for me to see this contract and not see like an MVP or like Super Bowl, even though it's early, but I'm like, to be the highest paid ever, I get it. You have a high ceiling. But damn, doesn't guarantee you're gonna get there, bro. I'm like, yo, they really have faith in some of these guys that sometimes I feel like you have to get the work done and get paid for it.
So here's a couple things. One, NFL just signed huge media right deals this past offseason that were fucking insane. I think it was over $100 billion in media money. So like the NFL they're shooting up. You want to talk about a league that did not take a hit this past year with COVID and everything? It's the NFL. I mean, they killed it.
They took a hit on attendance sales. They didn't take a hit on probably views.
But the big money is the media deals. That's where the huge money is. And I mean, I think, like I said, I don't remember the exact number, but it was like over 100 billion. So I think that played a factor. We're going to start seeing salary caps rise up. And then to the potential part, like Josh Allen, I think if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers, he probably would have been MVP. If Aaron Rodgers didn't play so lights out, Josh Allen was the clear runner up to me. So yeah. And I think you do got to take potential, because you also got to remember he's only 24. And by the time this contract ends, he's going to be 30 years old. Yeah. So he can still get another massive contract, especially at the rate. Like, I mean, look at Tom Brady playing into his mid 40s. I mean, this guy could get 2 more contracts after this one that are huge money and probably extensions to this current one. I feel like
the only difference with Brady is obviously he's proven. So people are going to pay him, even with the age. But
let's just say there's not many people on this planet that are Josh Allen that have the size, the mobility, the arm strength,
mobility.
The accuracy.
I get it. Like, it's hard. Like when you get a quarterback, that can do what he can do. It's like drawing a needle out of a haystack, right? Like, yo, that's the guy. Like, oh shit, we got him. Let's keep him.
Yeah, coming out of Wyoming too, out of all colleges, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I get that, because a lot of teams, they're struggling. They have a different quarterback every year, different quarterback every 2 years. They're struggling to find the guy. And when you got him, you're gonna pay him, you're gonna keep him, you're gonna develop around him. But like, dude, that's just insane to me. I'm just like, to me, it looks like you have one great year, we're gonna pay you for the rest of your life. Like that's.
So
like I said, he progressively got better, and then this third year he really just like showed out.
Which he had an amazing year, and I'm not taking anything away. Like
fourth year, my bad, not third year, fourth year. And so he, but yeah, go Gabe.
I was gonna say, I'm just looking at the stats. So just looking at like his completion percentage from when he got drafted to today. So he's been improved every year. So he went up from 52 to 58 to 69% completion. If you look at his yards per game, went up 172 up to 193 up to 284 average yards per game. So his QB rating from 67 to 85 to 107. So he's been improving every year. And right now he's averaging on career 90, 90.4 QBR rating. So to make a case for Josh Allen, I think he is worth the money. And when you can find a quarterback like that, a franchise quarterback, you want to give him money, give him that security that he won't leave.
Yeah, but most ever.
Yeah.
The
Well,
most
also
ever?
mind you, when it comes to the NFL, their contracts aren't guaranteed. So if you want to get paid, you have to play. So even though it's like you were saying earlier about like how do they make these contracts? They're giving up money that they don't have. The NFL the NFL union is kind of a weaker union in that way. Not like MLB or NBA. Those contracts are pretty much guaranteed. But the NFL is not. So like God forbid.
Well, that's why the most important part is the guarantee part. 150 million guaranteed is the highest. Obviously, yeah. Patrick Mahomes had the $500 million deal, but I think his guarantee was like 140 versus Josh Allen's is 280 with 288. I mean 258, my bad, with 150 million guaranteed, which that guarantee is the really important part.
The signing.
Yeah. And the signing's 100 million. Like, which is fucking insane. Like, that's ridiculous. That's how you make cap space, though.
Yeah, it can get ridiculous because, like you said, they're giving away money that they don't have. Because necessarily, that could always change later on. Because contracts in the NFL are not guaranteed. But I think he's probably worth it. Every year the price is going up. We talked about earlier last week, Xavier Howard getting mad because at one point he was the highest paid cornerback, but then he kind of set the bar, and then when the other quarterbacks, other cornerbacks contracts came up, his was a little bit higher, and now he's mad. He was trying to leave the Dolphins. So, I mean, you're gonna see the the elevation, especially in a sport like NFL, which is the number one sport in America. Those contracts are going to go
in the world, boy. In the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, congrats to Josh Allen. I think he's really good. He's going to play worth it, especially for him. He's a young guy, that they drafted. I think they did well in that draft. They did well drafting him, and I think he's going to be, he'll be. Hopefully, if he stays healthy, he'll be around the league, for longer. Is there any other news, Julie, you want to talk about for the NFL? Any other transactions?
Let's go with the final topic for tonight. We're going to go on about Carson Wentz getting this absolutely completely random injury that apparently he suffered at the age, like in high school, in his foot, and apparently it resurfaced again during training camp, and now all of a sudden he had to get foot surgery, and now he's out 5 to 12 weeks, which is one hell of a range, honestly. Like, that's 5 to 12 weeks, which is crazy. But apparently things are coming out that you're starting to see him around the facility. He's walking around and everything, and they think that he's ahead of schedule and he might be back pretty soon. But Gabe, how much of a detriment is this to the Colts, and how much is just a punch in the stomach to their division chances?
Well, obviously it's gonna be big, right? Because I gotta look up the Colts backup. Obviously this was a big move. Colts are looking for, a replacement quarterback. Which, by the way, didn't I hear a rumor of wanted to come back? What's his name? What's the old Colts quarterback who retired early?
Andrew Luck? No, he's not coming back.
He's not coming back. I heard rumors that he was like, he considered unresigning. But
there were rumors about Nick Foles coming, like them trading for Nick Foles, and then I heard something about them trading for Minshew, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know who's going to start. I don't really know that. I
taking over again.
There's no way. I don't think they get up.
All right, Nick Foles to save the day again.
Could you imagine?
Captain save a quarterback. Captain
Superman right there, bro.
Man, Carson Wentz does not want to see that guy's face ever again.
He doesn't. Sure, he does not. He doesn't want to hear his name in that facility. I guess to relive what happened in Philly.
Yeah, but I don't think they're giving up anything. I think they're going to try to tank it out, hopefully get back soon. And then on top of that, it wasn't just him too. I mean, you also lose Quentin Nelson with the same foot injury, and the same timeline. And now they're saying that he could be back sooner because he's performing well in his rehab. But that's, man, one of your best offensive linemen, and then your quarterback, and then there was talks of Darius Leonard also getting hurt too, I want to say, or I don't know if it was him or somebody else. And then there was also a DeForest Buckner had a possible injury, and I was like, oh man, it's gotta suck. But I think everything looks like it's on the up and up though after this past couple days.
Yeah, looking up at their depth chart right now, they got their backup is Jacob Eason as the number 2, and then number 3 is Sam Ellinger and Brett Hundley, which I've heard of Ellinger and Hundley. I think Ellinger was from.
I don't know if you heard, but apparently I think how do you say his name again? My bad.
Ellinger.
Ellinger. I think was he the one that threw 100-yard bomb like in practice or something like that.
22 years old from Texas.
No, did you hear about that? It was somewhere on like Twitter.
Something in that Texas water because I don't understand this.
He threw like 100-yard bomb or something like. I don't know how true that was. I don't know. I don't know if it was him or some other
these TikTok, YouTube quarterback, these SoundCloud quarterbacks.
SoundCloud. That gotta be a headline.
But Gabe,
SoundCloud quarterback.
But Gabe and JoJo, are they still? Can they take up the Titans and the Jags in the division?
Oh, the Jags, yes. Titans, no. Jags, absolutely. Jags, 100%. 1,000%.
For those who don't know, I am a Jaguars fan.
Listen, bro.
So he's just roasting me.
Our view, if they've been keeping up with us, they understood what we're talking about.
But yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's a big detriment.
Colts getting a new quarterback. Yeah. He's injured. All right, listen, you got the rehab time. How many times has this guy been injured already? You know, like, I hope he would come out to play well, but that just doesn't happen overnight. Like, you know, you're not the quarterback that came into Philly that first year that everybody wanted to see. We've seen what happened every year after that. Put him on a pedestal. Unfortunately, you know, injuries suck. You know, it's about how you bounce back from those injuries. And now you just get another one, stopping your momentum, coming to a new team. You're going to be the guy. You're getting out of Philly. You're getting out of that mess. You're feeling good.
You're playing with your old head coach.
Brand new start.
Nick Foles shadow. You got a Nick Foles shadow. You know what I mean?
And you get you get your old head coach that you performed well in that year, Frank Wright. So like you're getting everything seems to be lining
terrible. Up. It's a terrible setback. And you know what's more important than the physicality? Up here, bro. Up here, knowing he's okay to play, like the confidence, you know what I mean? The team's confidence in him. So I personally think the injury is a bigger deal than, you know, what people would make it out to. Let's see how he comes back, man. I'm hoping for a speedy recovery. Yeah. You know, I'm never going to pray on anyone's downfall, but like, it's just not looking good, bro. That's just bad luck. That is bad luck.
I can see him coming. If he maybe, I can see him maybe missing, you know, the couple first weeks, but I can see him coming back and still.
I don't think he's not going to be on 12. I think it looks like they're leaning more towards the 5 to like. I think I even heard 3. Like by week 3, he could come back, or week 4.
I don't know, man. You know, they want to rush it. They make it look good in the media. Like,
I want to say you got a running game. The one thing that's in the Colts' favor is, I think their big hit too was losing Quentin Nelson, but they still have a lot of other guys along that line that can possibly hold it down, and they could. You just got to pound the ball, man. Like you got Jonathan Taylor, who was a rookie that showed out last year. I think Marlon Mack is still on that team, and he was really good before he got injured. So you got a decent running game over there. So I mean, obviously they're just gonna be pounding the rock. Like that's what you got to do. And even like those first couple weeks, just ease Wentz into it and just pound the rock. Use your running game that you have, and yeah. But I think this really sets them back from winning the division. I think they need every game possible to go take on the Titans, and it sucks that they're losing him for a couple weeks. But injuries happen, man. It's the NFL. So
part of the game is part of every sport, and that's what we talk about here. Real Fans Podcast.
You know what place? JoJo, tell them where they can find us.
I know y'all like how I did that. You can find us at every Walmart, Target, Amazon, eBay. Nah, I'm kidding. Follow us on Instagram. Hit up that Twitter. Hit up that YouTube. Hit up that Spotify.
Apple Music. Anywhere else you get podcasts. Literally anywhere you get podcasts.
Fans, real sports.
We appreciate the follows. We appreciate you sharing us all our videos. All the people at Nike in the back room, we see y'all, we hear y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for checking out this week. We'll be back next week with more sports, more basketball, more football, more baseball, any sports. Appreciate y'all coming out, checking us out. Real Fans Podcast. Peace.